working on understanding how the dunes recover after hurricanes, and particularly after a rapid succession of hurricanes like we've had over the last couple of years. So I started this research after Hurricane Ian to understand how the beaches recover after a major hurricane. But then as we repeatedly got hurricane damage over the last 2 years, we're now studying how resilient or not resilient these systems are, and thinking about how best we can use what we're learning about the native plants here to inform restoration projects such as what Collier County is planting right now. Unfortunately, what we've found is a lot of loss. And we're documenting just how extensive that damage to the plant communities was, particularly after Helene and Milton this past fall, because of the amount of sand deposition that happened from those storms. We got feet of sand washed up from those in a lot of places along this coastline, and that really buried the plant communities to an extent that they're not necessarily able to recover from that. So we're understanding what plants do survive well in these different forces of nature, like storm surge, getting buried by sand. These are different hazards that plants have different abilities to withstand. So when we're planning a restoration, we want a variety of plants, each of which has some resistance to some of those hazards. So depending on what we get, then there will still be some things left that do pretty well. So the idea is to learn more about the plants themselves, how they perform in this environment, and then use that information to inform how we restore. I think we'll learn a lot so Collier County right now is planting their entire stretch of coastline, and they're planting 1 million plants. They built up the sand berms again after Helene and Milton, so they're planting elevated on those berms, and they're planting a variety of species. I was part of the committee that developed the planting plan for that project, and I think we'll learn a lot from that project in terms of how quickly those plants grow, how well they do against future hurricanes, and that will then give us more information about future plantings as well. Plants are our friends. They're doing a lot of work for us out here. They're really doing 3 things for us. So one of the things that we're measuring in this project is how well plants accumulate sand. So they'll actually trap grains of blowing sand and build up a dune structure over time. The second function that they perform is resisting erosion. So the roots of those plants will hold the sand in place over time and really resist, even in a storm surge event, will resist a lot of coastal erosion like we've experienced on some of our beaches in the past storms. And then the third thing that they're doing is, especially the larger plants, the vertical structure of those will slow down the incoming storm surge and reduce the power of it. So all of those are really important features and functions that these plants are performing on our beaches.